Good heavens, I do apologise. I did not mean to interrupt your tea.
Oh, really? I'm only too glad to have a visit from you. Won't you please sit down, Mr. Fielding?
Miss Primgrass, I beg you to please call me Cedric.
Do you think it quite right?
We've known one another since infancy, after all, and there are few I consider nearer, if I may say, dearer to my heart.
Really, Cedric, your effusiveness overwhelms me.
Capital weather, eh?
Oh, indubitably.
Yes.
Cedric, might I have leave to observe, if it's not too terribly impertinent, that your entrance onto the balcony seemed to indicate some, well, shall we say, urgency with regards to a possible, and I'm merely speculating, of course, topic of, if I may, conversation.
Quite right, of course. Yes, you're so delightfully and arrestingly observant, Miss Primgrass. Right. I'm crap at this. Will you marry me or not?
Good heavens, Cedric!
Oh, I don't giving me that good heavens, Cedric look. Please, damn it, our parents have been plotting this for ages. We might as well get this over with.
But be still, my beating heart. Cedric, that was so romantic. However could I resist you?
Don't tell me that you want to be wooed. Bollocks, all right, fine. Dearest Celia, please allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and adore...
Bovine scatology. Beyond the raging plagiarism, I am forced to object on the grounds of grotesque megalomania. Your fortune may be grand, Cedric, but Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy you are not.
Well, what do you want then? Romeo and bloody Juliet? Stupid git Tristan and as dumb as dirt Isolde? Peleus and flippin' Melisandre, daft Dido.
I confess I never would have suspected you were capable of literary illusion, though the rampant profanity seems right up your proverbial alley.
Celia, allow me to invite you to shove it up your proverbial...
Oh, that's just grand. Leave it to you to raise a level of discourse to crude euphemism and uncouth wordplay. Really, Cedric, how droll. Is there anything a phrase that, by its very brevity and dependence on the stereotypes of particular societal mores, provides humour while reinforcing outdated gender norms and ignorant preconceived notions about other cultures and errors that we find comically stuffy? Tea?
Yes, please. Dear Miss Primgrass, please permit me the honour of observing how charmingly well you look today. That colour, well, it suits you admirably.
Thank you, Mr. Fielding, you flatter me.
Yes, I bloody well do flatter you. You look like an overstuffed armchair whose seams burst, exposing an indecent ejaculation of lace.
Speaking of indecent and ejaculation, how is your dear mother?
If you begin with my mother, you vitriolic harpy, I shall leave at once.
Do spare me your flaccid histrionics. You know as well as I do that door doesn't work, it's nailed shut from the other side. Purely aesthetic.
Wonderful. A false exit.
One of Papa's eccentric theatrical devices.
How meta.
You should see what he's done with the fourth wall.
What a clever thing.
And functional. It prevents one from shuffling off this mortal coil by leaping off the balcony. The knowledge that paying audience members would only chuck you back on stage to make you finish out the scene.
Vermin. For God's sake, don't you have your own lives out there?
Peeping Toms is what they are.
Yes.
Tawdry voyeurs.
My dearest Celia, with your sparkling wit and devastating looks, it is remarkable that you should have reached this very advanced age without attracting a husband. How is it possible that I should have the luck to find you single?
Oh, yes, dear me. Whatever would I do without a husband? Who would take credit for all my success? Who would occupy my time with critical matters of procreation? And where would I find an outlet for my overwhelming urge to coddle an infantile ego?
Please give leave that I may rescind my proposal of marriage.
Leave most freely given, thank you. I confess that swallowing lemon-soaked razor blades sounds considerably more appealing than wedded bliss with you.
Well, it would be unconscionable to prevent you from pursuing your predestined path of bitter, lonely spinsterhood, surrounded by mountains of romance novels and piles of bonbon boxes and the choking stench of self-pity, knee-deep in your cat's hair.
They've already announced the banns, haven't they?
Yes.
Bugger.
Quite. See you Sunday, then.
I'll be the one in white. Thank God it's you, though. You should have seen the other poor bastards they thrust at me. It felt ungentlemanly to engage in a battle of wits with opponents so clearly unarmed.
My dear, it is an honor to meet a worthy adversary on the field of love. Particularly when they swing such a tantalizing bustle.